So I saw the trade broke. The Bears determined to rebuke Domonique Foxworth's take that Justin Fields should leave Chicago. Domonique, this shocked me. One, because there are a lot of teams right now who need wide receivers, and a lot of teams I thought might be in the market for Chase Claypool. Based on the Bears' approach to this season, which is they've treated it as a rebuilding season and amassed picks, it shocked me that they traded for a wide receiver, even though I know that's what a lot of people wanted for Justin Fields. And it shocked me even more that they traded a second-round pick. So let's start there. Like, how do you feel about the value, and what do you think this says about the Bears and Justin Fields?
We've had these conversations. So the NFL trade deadline is becoming a thing, which it never was in the past. In the last few years, it's becoming a thing like the NBA, like a Major League Baseball, where there are buyers and sellers. And for a lot of these teams, they should be buying for long term. Whereas in baseball, it's like you're buying for this particular season. In basketball, sometimes it feels like that too. In football, all of these trades, they're like long term fixtures. This is not someone trying to make a run. So if this were some sort of short term fix, then obviously this is a bad idea. The second round pick, I don't know. It just feels like finding receivers is easier than ever in the draft and the first and second and third round, but you can also miss with it. So also the challenge is Claypool is coming up on re-up time soon too. So I like this as a gesture, because I didn't like that they're like pushing out Roquan and pushing out Quinn and pushing out Roquan, particularly youngish talent. And I like them bringing in some young talent.
Yeah. I mean, when you think about it holistically, so they traded Roquan for a second and a fifth, right? Mm-hmm. So I don't know if that is the second that they, which is going to be, it's the Ravens, so it's probably going to be a later second. If that's the second, it makes me like the pick more. And it also makes you think, oh, okay, like, you know, Roquan is also a player coming up for a contract. Chase Claypool is a player coming up for a contract. I don't hate the fact that they said we'd rather invest in a young receiver than a linebacker. As much as I like Roquan Smith, and we'll talk about him in the Ravens and what he can do for them. I think, what gives me pause is a little bit your point about the ability to find receivers in the draft. But this is a team that has a ton of cap space next year, has finally some picks. And I like it just because, to me, and maybe I'm being optimistic here, but the fact that they did this midseason, it makes me feel, maybe wrongly, that they believe in Justin Fields, which I don't think was a given coming into this year. And I do wonder whether they would have done this if they hadn't seen flashes of promise from him, even in a game like the Cowboys game, where ups and downs, unnecessary sacks, but still showing enough. Obviously, the Patriots game, he was fantastic, to make this team think, all right, we are going to keep this going. Let's get him a receiver now. It's clearly a need on this roster. Chase Claypool is a deep threat. They can use him on horizontal stuff as well, end arounds and whatnot. He can be helpful in the option game that way. So, like, I don't know. I value-wise, I have questions, but I do like what it suggests for Justin Fields.
Yeah, I mean, you're not going to, like, win every trade, you know? So they didn't get their ass kicked in this trade. It seems like it's okay. It's a fine trade to make. But you're welcome, Bears fans, and you're welcome, Dolphins fans, because any team that I criticize early in the season or before the season starts for garbage roster construction seems to pan out better than we all expected. And particularly these last 2 weeks, Justin Fields, what they were able to do with him and what he had passes that were dropped that I thought were excellent throws. Yeah. It's not just his running ability, but it is the idea that they can build an offense around his running ability. And Ryan Poles, the new GM, there's no reason for him to be on Justin Fields. Same with Eberflus. It does feel like there's been a opinion change. At least it feels like in the spirit around that organization. It does feel a little bit more like, we got our guy and we know we have something special, and let's start to amass the pieces that time up well with him. So I do agree with you. I like this move for them, and you're not going to blow everybody out of the water, but he's really active for a first year.
He is. He's doing a lot.
Ryan Poles,
he's been busy. Yeah. But yeah, they have the money to do this.